Welcome back. This is episode 15 of the 10-minute round. We're starting to do some numbers. We're going to recap UFC 307 out of Salt Lake City this past weekend. Overall, up until the end, kind of a lackluster affair. A lot of split decisions, a lot of weird judging. It's just wild to me that like bad judging is just like a universally accepted concept in combat sports. Like the idea that it's okay for you not to like properly do your job, that there's a saying that's just like, hey, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. Like I wish that standard was held for me at my job. Like in real life, I'm a bartender. It'd be cool if like somebody walked up to the bar and was like, hey, can I get a margarita? And then I just like, mix up an old fashioned, I put it in front of them and they're like, hey, but this is not what I ordered. And I go, hey, it's okay. Just drink that. Enjoy, you know? Because that's like the standard that these fight judges are held to. And it has been this way since for as long as I can remember. And it's crazy that like it's okay. Nobody ever gets in trouble for it. Nobody. So I don't know. I'll touch on the judging more in like the co-main event, which is, that's foreshadowing. But regardless, let's get right into like Wonder Boy versus Joaquin Buckley. It was a good fight. It was a fight that Wonder Boy was winning. He was kind of, Buckley came out with that strategy in the first round. He was kind of trying to wrestle Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy was trying to keep the distance, kind of piecing him up a little bit. He was doing a really good job of it. He won the first and second round, so obviously he was doing a good job. But there came a point in the third round where Buckley knew he had to kind of finish the fight to get the win, and he just kind of disregarded Wonder Boy's power. He just walked him down. Obviously, he lunged in with that right hook and knocked him out. It was, honestly, big ups to Buckley for doing that because it's exactly what he needed to do. He kind of needed to disregard the punching power of Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy does his best work when he's kind of standing. He's keeping that Wonder Boy distance. He's, hopping from the outside. He has you at kicking range. There's a little less danger in the punches of Wonder Boy. So Buckley did what he had to do. I think he called out Kamaru Usman for his next fight. Usman's kind of like, eh. But at some point, these top welterweights they all have to fight each other. At this point, you have I think Buckley's number 9 now. So you have, Leon, Usman, and Colby. They're like, I think the 1, 2, and 6. Nobody wants to see them fight each other anymore. They've all fought each other. There's no point in any of these combinations of fights happening anymore. So at this point, you got to add guys like Sean Brady and even Ian Machado Gary. Who else is up there? Shavkat is probably going to get the next title shot. So at some point, these guys have to fight each other. And for Usman, at some point, you're going to have to fight one of these guys. You're not very active, but I don't know. Well, whenever Usman gets a fight, I can talk more about that. But anyway, good on Buckley. It's all difficult fights from here, though. Kind of you're gonna have to stop fighting guys that are like past their prime. Next fight, Roman Dolidze, Kevin Holland. Not a lot to say. Obviously, Kevin Holland hurt his rib in the first round. It kind of seemed like that's how the fight was gonna go, though. When Dolidze got him down, kind of controlled him. Not much happened. It is what it is. For Dolidze, I didn't get the answers that I wanted out of this one. For Roman, it's just kind of like when he's fought like the top tier middleweights. Those are the guys that have given him his losses. So he's kind of in the same spot for me. Mario Bautista versus Jose Aldo. Another fight where kind of like, man, at some point you have to score takedown defenses. Like I thought Aldo won. And that's not to say that Bautista did okay. He was doing, good enough on the feet. The strategy was to kind of put on a pace on Aldo at altitude that like Aldo would not be able to keep up with. He kind of did that. He failed on every takedown. Aldo's takedown defense is absolutely legendary. Like it's insane. It's insane that the guy just cannot be taken down. So I felt Aldo won. I'm a little biased though. I don't like that you can just kind of spam takedowns, and if you don't get them, you can just kind of stall. Something has to be done about that. Even though, like, I'm a bit of a purist, don't get me wrong. For me, it's if a guy's holding you against the fence, you have to figure out how to get out of that. But to kind of being scored in a positive way for doing that, it's kind of silly. Like, you're not succeeding at the thing that you're trying. So why are you being scored? Like you're succeeding at it. Why does this count as you winning the fight when the thing that you're intending to do is not happening? So whatever. Kayla Harrison fought Caitlin Vieira. She won. I still have questions about the weight cut. I still think she's a big girl. 135 is hard. It's gonna drain her. It's kind of taking away from her abilities. There's no way that Kayla's going into these fights at 100%. I feel like in this one, she really needed to make a statement. She's on a big stage here. She's on a big card. She has the title fight, as the co-main event. So she really needed to go out there and just really dominate Caitlin Vieira. And for what it's worth, when she was able to get her down to the ground, when she had top position, it's nasty. She's Lady Brock Lesnar, and she really just fucking smashes girls once she's on top. But it took her a while to get there in this fight. The striking, she's 34 years old. The striking is only ever going to come so far. The kicks look good. She kicks hard. So, maybe she can kind of build upon that, maybe, but as far as like the striking game, she's never really going to be like a pure striker. Her objective is just figure out a way to get top control and just smash these girls, because once she's there, she looks unstoppable. Co-main event, kind of I wasn't excited about this one. Watching it, it still wasn't all that thrilling. However, I did think that Raquel Pennington won. I thought that she took rounds 1, 4, and 5. I know the commentators after the fact were kind of talking about like round 1 was the swing round. Went back, watched round 1, still thought Raquel Pennington won that. I think it's weird that I think if you look at the media scores, like the online journalists, all the people who cover MMA, everyone unanimously scored the fight for Raquel Pennington, except for like the 2 judges that were at ringside. Even the crowd was booing Julianna Pena, so I just think it's wild that you can just kind of get away with that. It is what it is. Julianna Pena is a champion once again. She ignored Kayla Harrison. She called out Amanda Nunes. I don't think that's the fight that we need to make right now. I think Kayla Harrison is a clear-cut contender for the belt. Amanda is retired, and I'm sure Amanda would come out of retirement for the fight. I don't doubt that at all. But let's get the Julianna Pena versus Kayla Harrison fight out of the way. Kayla Harrison did not look unbeatable in this fight against Caitlin Vieira. So Julianna Pena, with the right strategy, can win this fight and kind of build upon that Amanda Nunes fight. And if Kayla Harrison wins, scary girl, Amanda Nunes the GOAT, we can build a big fight out of that. But I think both girls fought on the same day, same card. Let's get this one on the books. And if Amanda wants to come back by next summer, that fight's always there, because there's not really anybody else after Kayla Harrison to fight for this belt. There's no clear-cut contender in this weight class. So let's just, let's get it out of the way. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. Jama. What a fucking... This fight saved the card. It saved the card, let's be honest. It was a wonderful fight. Khalil did a fantastic job. He did a great job in the first 2 rounds. But he was fighting... He was throwing so hard that it was a pace that he wasn't going to be able to keep up, especially at altitude. But for however long it lasted, for those first 2 rounds, those bursts, those counters, those everything, it was nice to see somebody give Alex trouble on the feet. However, the way that Alex was fighting, he was much more patient. He was landing small stuff like, jabs and just like leg kicks, and he was accumulating damage. And obviously that damage started to take its toll going into the 3rd round, definitely going into the 4th round. But it was just, there was too much energy expenditure from Khalil Roundtree in the first 2 rounds. Like, he knocked him down. He knocked down Alex twice, but not being able to get the finish, his strategy wasn't made for fighting 5 rounds at altitude. It just is what it is. And Alex kind of patiently just kind of picked his shots, did his damage. And then once Khalil was kind of fading, he really put it on him. He really turned it up in the 4th round. Like he smelled blood in the water, and he just came out. And man, that 4th round was just, what a great round that was. And those body shots that he finished him with, those were absolutely brutal. But at this point, Alex is 37 years old. I don't know how many more of these he's got in him. The end is near. Don't get it wrong. Don't this is only going to go for so much longer. For what it's worth, if he wanted to make the money, I'm kind of turning around on the John Jones fight, just because if he wanted to make that money and attempt to fight John, then why not go and make your money? At this point, 205, you got maybe the Ankalaev fight if Ankalaev wins his next one. It's still a bad matchup. He's a bad matchup for Alex, in theory. John is a bad matchup for him. So eventually you're going to have to face a wrestler. You might as well make as much money as possible from facing a wrestler. So that's it. That's all I got to say for this one. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know. I don't know what's next. But Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria is at the end of this month. So I'm going to get my boner ready. Yeah, that was weird. Have a good one. Peace.